One question that seems to come up quite a bit when talking about worldview, philosophy, theology, and Christianity is the question, is Jesus really God? Certainly, Jesus is known by almost everyone in the world as a historical figure. But there are some who would say, well, he was just merely that, a historical figure. In fact, sometimes you'll even get some individuals knocking on your door on the weekend trying to tell you that Jesus is not fully God in the same way that God the Father is. They deny the deity of Christ Jesus. And from a historical perspective, to deny the deity of Christ Jesus is heresy, and from a biblical perspective, it's simply inaccurate. The question, is Jesus God, is resoundingly answered yes in the Bible. For instance, if you read through the life of Christ in the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, you will see that Jesus claimed all the authority of God. He took upon himself the names of God. In fact, after his resurrection, when Thomas saw him and said, "My Lord and my God," he received that praise from Thomas. And so Jesus affirmed through his own teachings that he is in fact God. And not only did he affirm it with his teachings, but he also authenticated it through what he did. He came into this world and did all the works necessary to prove that he is God. From healing those who are sick, he lived an entire life with no sin. He resisted all of the temptations in the surrounding world and never one time desired to rebel against his Father. That kind of perfect righteousness can only come from God. In fact, even now, our resurrected Lord is receiving the praise due to him as God in heaven. Every knee one day will bow and every tongue will confess that Jesus is Lord. And by the way, the term Lord in the New Testament comes from the Old Testament name for God, Yahweh. And so Jesus is accepting the praise of God even now in heaven. And here's why it's important to understand this. You must confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord in order to be saved. And Jesus had to be saved for the gospel to even make sense. You see, as sinners, we have violated the perfect, holy standard of God. And so we need a substitute who can stand in our place to take the penalty of that sin away from us. And our substitute has to be absolutely perfect. And so if we're going to have the infinite punishment of sin paid for, we need an infinitely good sacrifice. Which is why, for the gospel to be true, Jesus has to be God.